Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dafa Zaki Army from 2A Class English Department. Today in this occasion, I want to interpret a video from Brightside YouTube channel. The title is Pilot Time Traveled in Bermuda Triangle and Nobody Can Explain It. This theme is an environment theme. Okay, let's begin to the video.
December 4th, 1970. Pilot Bruce Gernon had two passengers on board his Beechcraft Bonanza single-engine aircraft, his father and business partner. They took off from Andros Island in the Bahamas and headed northwest for the Florida coast. Sure, they were in the infamous Bermuda Triangle's airspace, but this was a typical flight Bruce had made dozens of times before. The trip usually took about an hour and a half with no hiccups whatsoever. Bruce took off and started gaining altitude. Strange things started happening right from the get-go. At first, he noticed a small cloud up ahead, but it kept growing. Not from the plane getting closer. This thing was actually getting bigger in size. Bruce had to fly through it, and he came out the other end just fine. He gained altitude, and yet another mysterious cloud appeared. This one was massive, and Bruce had no other choice but to fly through it too. At that moment, it got dark as night.
Okay, let's begin. Pada tanggal 4 Desember 1970, pilot Bruce Gernon membawa serta ayah dan rekan bisnisnya dengan pesawat bermesin tunggal Beechcraft Bonanza. Mereka lepas landas dari Pulau Andros di Bahama, menuju pesisir Florida di barat laut, dan pastinya melintasi segitiga Bermuda yang terkenal itu. Rute ini sudah sering dilalui Bruce, dan jarak tempuh normalnya sekitar 1,5 jam tanpa ada hambatan. Pesawat Bruce lepas landas, dan terus meninggi. Hal aneh pun mulai terjadi. Di atas pesawat terlihat awan kecil dan makin lama makin membesar. Bukan karena pesawatnya yang terus mendekat, tapi memang karena ukuran yang terus membesar. Bruce harus menerobos awan ini, agar ia bisa keluar dari tebalnya awan itu. Saat pesawatnya makin tinggi, awan misterius lain pun juga muncul, ukurannya sangat besar. Sehingga dia juga harus menerobosnya pada saat itu, sementara kondisi di luar pesawat sangatlah gelap.
Night all around the aircraft, but this wasn't a storm cloud, and it wasn't raining. Bruce was starting to get worried, and then, BAM! He saw flashes of white light. Bruce kept flying for another 30 minutes when he realized this was the same cloud he had gone through earlier when he started to climb. But now the cloud was cylindrical, and the plane was flying through its center. It was wide and seemed endless. Bruce thought he could never get out of that trap. But a minute later, he saw light at the end of the tunnel. But all of a sudden, the walls of the cloud tunnel began to narrow. They were closing in on the plane. The navigational instruments started wigging out. The compass was spinning by itself counterclockwise.
Padahal, tidak ada awan badai maupun hujan. Situasinya semakin mencekam. Kemudian, drak. Kilatan cahaya putih mulai berpendaran. Bruce pun tetap melanjutkan penerbangannya. Hingga 30 menit kemudian, terlihat lagi awan yang sama pada saat pesawatnya mulai naik. Tapi kali ini bentuknya silinder. Jadi pesawatnya perlu melewati pusat awan yang lebar dan tanpa ujung. Bruce pun sudah mulai patah arang saat terjebak di dalam awan. Tapi beberapa saat kemudian terlihat cahaya seperti di ujung terowongan. Seketika itu dinding terowongan terus menyempit dan menghimpit badan pesawat. Sehingga alat navigasi pun mulai tidak bisa dikendalikan. Jarum kompas bergerak tidak karuan melawan arah jarum jam.
The walls kept narrowing, smaller and smaller, wrapping like a vortex. The electrical instruments still going haywire. Bruce was running out of time. He had to get out of this place fast. A grueling 20 seconds later, he burst out of this foggy trap. As Bruce described later, he felt weightless for 5 seconds as his plane left the tunnel. The clouds dispersed, and now the aircraft was in a grayish haze. The men let out a big sigh of relief. He immediately grabbed the radio and contacted ground control to determine his location. But when the dispatcher looked at the green screen, his face became contorted with confusion. Bruce's plane wasn't on the radar. It was as if the thing was invisible. But then the dispatcher said the aircraft was already in Miami airspace. Bruce was utterly shocked. It just couldn't be true. Remember, the whole trip usually took around 90 minutes, but this time, it took just 47 minutes to get to the destination.
Terowongan itu terus menyempit dan mengecil, melingkupi badan pesawat seperti pusaran perangkat elektronik juga masih tidak berfungsi. Bruce harus segera keluar dari sana. Setelah 20 detik yang mendebarkan itu, akhirnya dia bisa keluar dari jebakan awan itu. Menurut keterangan Bruce, 5 detik setelah keluar dari terowongan itu, tubuhnya sangat terasa ringan, lalu awan-awan yang mulai menyingsing dan disusul dengan kabut keabu-abuan. Leganya, kondisi menegangkan ini pun berakhir. Ia langsung mengambil radio dan menghubungi pusat kendali darat untuk mencari tahu di mana lokasinya sekarang. Tapi, saat si petugas mengecek layar hijau, wajahnya pun mulai terkaget-kaget. Pesawat Bruce tak terdeteksi oleh radar, seolah-olah hilang tanpa jejak. Tapi kemudian, si petugas bilang pesawatnya sudah sampai di langit Miami. Bruce pun jadi tidak habis pikir. Mana mungkin waktu tempuh normalnya yang selama 90 menit, dan pada penerbangan kali ini baru mencapai 47 menit dan sudah sampai pada tujuan.
His plane didn't magically gain some supersonic speed beyond the model's limited max cruising speed. This was physically impossible. The dispatcher must have made a mistake. But when the clouds parted, Bruce saw that he really was over Miami. The plane landed safely, and it was time to try and solve this mystery. Bruce checked the remaining fuel and his watch. After a short calculation, he was only more confused. The plane hadn't gone through the amount of fuel it should have. Archive records show that 84 sunspots were recorded that day, as well as a huge solar wind. This would cause disturbances in the Earth's magnetosphere that could throw off the plane's instruments and radars. But so far, no one has been able to explain how the plane got to Miami so fast. Maybe in the future, the truth will be revealed. In the meantime, it remains another mysterious riddle of the Bermuda Triangle.
Pesawatnya tentu tak secara tiba-tiba bisa melesat dalam kecepatan supersonik kan? Kecepatan jelajah maksimal model pesawat ini tidak akan bisa sampai secepat itu. Benar-benar tidak mungkin. Petugas itu pasti salah lihat. Tapi, saat langit cerah, Bruce bisa tahu kalau dia memang benar-benar sudah sampai di Miami. Setelah pesawatnya berhasil mendarat, Bruce langsung mencoba menyingkap misteri ini. Dia mengecek sisa bahan bakar dan jam tangannya setelah menghitung-hitung sebentar. Dia malah makin bingung. Bahan bakar pesawatnya masih sisa banyak. Sehingga laporan arsip pada hari ini menunjukkan saat itu ada tercatat 84 bintik matahari dan angin surya dahsyat. Peristiwa ini menyebabkan gangguan magnetosfer bumi yang kemudian bisa merusak peralatan dan radar pesawat. Tapi sejauh ini belum ada yang bisa menjelaskan proses penerbangan ini hingga sampai sekencang itu. Mungkin kelak kebenarannya akan terungkap, dan di zaman ini peristiwa ini masih salah satu misteri di balik misteri dari segitiga Bermuda yang sangat terkenal itu. Baiklah, saya rasa itu hasil dari interpretasi saya tentang video ini. Mohon maaf apabila ada kesalahan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.